Welcome back, YouTube. Today's video I'm super excited about. I'm going to be talking about 8 jobs that do not require a college degree. Because I have 3 boys who are the way they are and live in today's world, I've realized how much people these days are not really aiming towards getting a degree anymore. And I don't want to get into that debate. I think that school has its place and its time and its purpose, but just because I know a lot of people either don't have the money to go, don't want to go, or don't see the purpose in it, this video is for you guys. Disclaimer though, I do have 3 different degrees, none of which I use currently in my job or for YouTube. But, I mean, technically I have a business degree, so you could say that I'm using it, but I don't think that I'm actually using anything I was taught during school. Again, not condoning going to school or not going to school, just gonna throw all this information out there, and that sounded bad. If I had magic dust, I just... Okay. So first things first, DoorDash. I know not everyone wants to do it, but you don't need a college degree, and I know a couple people who do this full time. I have tried DoorDash. That is for a future video, but I know that you can actually make a decent amount of money if this is what you're dedicating all of your time to. If you want a side hustle, do it as a side hustle. If you want to do it full time, do it full time. If you want to have the freedom to build your own schedule, not be tied down to specific bosses or a boss, this is something you might want to try. Obviously, it's going to depend on if it works in the city that you live in. I would definitely think this works best if you are in a city that is very populated, where people like to spend money not having to go to the store across the street or the restaurant across the street. If that's where you live, this might work great for you. Number 2 is medical assembly, or kind of really any type of assembly that works with circuit boards or smaller parts. I know quite a few people actually who have done this, and although you can definitely get paid more or get paid in specialized positions if you have experience or a degree, you don't need a degree to start. Really what it is you get a map of what you're building, and you either get to build the whole thing or you get to play a smaller part in building the final product. This job, in Minnesota at least, generally pays very well. I've seen it go anywhere from $15 or $16 an hour to upwards of $40 an hour. Again, depending on experience and your skill level, if you have a degree, but you do not need a degree. The most successful person I know in this type of role doesn't even have a degree in this, has never gone to school for it, just happened to be doing it since she was younger up until this point, and she is great at it, and she's getting paid upwards in the 30s per hour. That's a lot for someone who doesn't have a degree. If you're great with working with your hands, if you're great at details, and you can really do a job kind of the same way every single time you do it over and over each day, that doesn't bore you at all, this might be something that you want to consider. Number 3, if you like talking, this is for you. Customer service and call center reps. I know, again, not for everyone, but if you're great with dealing with people, you enjoy talking on the phone, and you don't mind doing a little bit of research because every type of call center job requires a little bit of digging into the database, this is for you. You don't need a degree to start. Customer service roles beforehand, maybe some experience in that would be a great plus, but again, nothing is needed to just start. This is a good role just to kind of kickstart your career if you're looking for customer service roles, and generally it should be pretty easy. The only downside I've heard from people I know is that depending on what field and depending on what company you work for, it can get really busy, really tiring, really fast, but maybe you can give it a shot and see what you think. Another plus for that role is since COVID, a lot of these roles have gone hybrid or fully remote. So if that's something you're looking for, maybe putting up with all the other things is kind of a, it balances out. 4th is becoming an administrative assistant. This is actually the first job I had coming out of college, and it has helped me get to where I am now. In Minnesota, I want to say I was being paid maybe like $32,000 a year for someone who had a 2-year degree and no experience at all. I don't think that it was great, but I do think that it was a good, solid job for my first job. And I think that because of the type of person I am, it worked out really well for me. It's a good stepping stone job if you're looking to work higher up in an office setting. Nowadays, a lot of them are hybrid or remote as well. This job requires you to help other people in the office with things like filing, faxing, printing, organizing, event planning, answering the phone, calendars. If you're good at all those detailed tasks, this job might be for you. Depending on where you start, I want to say this job offers a decent starting salary or wage, and it can actually help you get to roles like executive assistants that pay in Minnesota. Again, I don't know everywhere, but in Minnesota, anywhere from the 50s to 100 grand. If you're not such a detailed person or you don't like working under higher pressure, I wouldn't suggest this job for you. Number 5, if you've ever heard of this company, I think it's called United States Postal Service. You don't need a degree to be a USPS postal worker. Whether you work in the branches or you're in the car delivering mail, they don't require a degree to get started. Again, like I've said before, for all these roles, it always helps, but you don't need it. It's not required. You can start wherever you are. I actually know one person that works for USPS, and he's been doing it for decades. He loves to walk in the summer. He has great benefits, and he makes a decent amount of money. Obviously, if you're anyone like me, USPS has not been kind to you, and there's a little bit of beef there. But, it's a great start for anyone who needs it. It's a government job. You're going to get government benefits. And all in all, I think it's going to kind of work out for you. If that's something you're interested in, they always have postings. Go online and check it out. Number 6, for those of you that like to travel, flight attendants, you do not need a degree to be a flight attendant. Just like in customer service roles, you'll be required to do some training, but you don't actually need to have a degree. In most cities and for most airlines, this is the case. If you like to travel and you want some bonus miles and some benefits for flying and traveling, this might be for you. Obviously, you're going to be traveling a lot, so if you have a family that you need to tend to, you want to be home after 5 o'clock, this is not for you. But if you have a flexible schedule and are totally willing to go to 3 or 4 places a week, try this out. Number 7, as much as technology seems to be taking over the world and as much as people think that technology is going to replace them, computer and IT techs are a in-demand field right now. And the great thing is that you don't need a degree to become a first-tier computer tech. I think that because of the world we live in, everyone has at least a little bit of experience with technology. And if you also pair that with customer service skills, whether or not you have experience, you might make a great computer or IT tech. A lot of times this is going to be similar to those call center representative positions. So if you don't like dealing with people, this might not be for you. But again, these are moving to hybrid or remote and are kind of everywhere because every type of company needs people to help service their IT problems. If you want to get into the technology field, the software field, this might be a good starting point for you to learn really what's out there if you like the company and to get some great networking done. Last but not least are paraprofessionals in schools. If you've never heard of this, they are just assistants that help with children at schools. Sometimes you're assigned to 1 or 2 children, sometimes you're assigned to a whole group during recess. They're just kind of there to help with any administrative or physical tasks dealing with the children and teachers in a school setting. Most of these positions I've seen are part-time, kind of in the middle of the day. So it could possibly be a side hustle for you depending on what your main job is and the hours that you work. Or if you don't need that much income, it could be your full-time thing, even though it's only part-time. Again, if you like kids, if you don't want to work a lot, and if you like a flexible schedule with summers off, this might be for you. Those are the 8 jobs I have for you that do not require a degree. If you're looking right now and you don't have a degree or don't want to get one, check any of those 8 out. If you guys are interested in hearing more, let me know in the comments or email me and I will dig up another list for you guys because I know there are so many out there that do not require a degree. If you haven't already, click the like and subscribe button and I will see you guys next time.